Hello Alex.
Salut Alex,
Miles.
salut Miles.
First question. Why did
Comment
you
est
want
née
to
l'envie
make
de
a
faire un
second
deuxième
album
album?
together?
First things first, can we talk about the elephant in the room?
Yes.
The elephant's foot.
Il est aussi énorme que vos mélodies.
Why did we want to do it again together, Miles? Well, it's just been so bloody long. This was our first opportunity that we got, really, because obviously I've been on the road with the Arctic Monkeys quite a lot for the last few years, and Miles has been... what have you been doing?
You know, and there was we just started writing some tunes, and it felt good to give it another go, really.
Votre premier album ressemblait à un hommage à la pop orchestrale des 60s. Avec celui-ci, vous imposez votre propre style.
I think definitely more so than with the first one. Yeah, you're right. That first record it came from a sort of clear set of stimulus, if you know what I mean, like Scott Walker, David Axelrod, Ennio Morricone,
yeah,
etc. And it was like we'd just been getting into those records at that time. And like you said, it was kind of an homage to that, whereas this time, although for a while we were looking for another set of things like that to go chasing after, we sort of didn't. We realised we were barking up the wrong tree. And sort of, the other thing that I think made that first album what it was, and the fundamental difference between it and the other things that we do is that it's us two writing songs together. And I think with this new record, the moment we began to focus on that rather than like we were going to try and copy, it began to like work out.
Why did you choose Malibu?
Pourquoi avoir choisi Malibu plutôt que la campagne française?
Yeah, I wondered if you were going to be sore about that, actually. Yeah.
We nearly did come over and do it here.
Because
there was an option of that, but it was booked up. Yeah.
Vous vouliez aller en Provence.
In France wasn't available.
And
number one.
Yeah, and then we were both living over there, so we just thought, you know.
Pensez-vous que cet environnement a eu un impact sur les chansons ou sur l'ambiance de l'enregistrement?
I think it's difficult to assess that at the moment when we're still kind of not that far away from it. I think maybe in a few years you might be able to tell. Like I think now when I think about the first record, for instance, it seemed like that environment definitely had an effect on, you know, what we came out with. So yeah, I don't know, but maybe. I mean, so it's pretty breezy at times.
Bits of it in there.
Comment est né cet amour pour la pop orchestrale?
Yeah, well, I suppose those records we mentioned before. I think a lot of this, like, it's easier to talk about when from looking at the first record than it is this last one in a way. Like, I think that this time it was almost about trying to get back to the attitude with which we approached the first one, or as close to it as possible. Because I think, you know, what was good about that for us the first time was it was like the other thing we were doing, like rather than the, you know, what we had been doing with our bands or whatever. And so I think as soon as you recognise that, I think there's a lot more possibilities.
It's just, you know, us two together doing our thing.
Comment expliquez-vous que vous soyez les seuls à perpétuer ce style?
I mean, nobody is doing it.
Yeah.
That's what we thought in the first place, was like, oh, you know, like, what, no one is doing this kind of thing. Like, let's try and give this a go. I mean, I don't know if that's true anymore, but certainly, like, when we first did it, we went into it.
Really ahead of the game.
Yeah. We were just... or we thought we were, at least, and like that was kind of all that matters. That's what, you know, what's good about that is that it's like its innocence and like the naivety that we did think like we would.
Yeah.
We fucking had a breakthrough. You know, that's kind of what you can hear on there. But whether you did or you didn't.
Je voulais savoir comment naît une chanson chez vous. Par exemple, le titre Everything You Come to Expect.
That was the lyrics and the verses for that were originally from another idea that we had, and because but the idea wasn't the best really, but we were fond of those words. And then just before going to Malibu, Alex sort of took those words and put them to this new idea, and then put that chorus on and took the old chorus off, and that was the kind of defining point, I think, of the record. That just a few days before going in, he sent this little demo, and I was like, wow, he's bloody gone and done it, you know. That was the...
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, interesting what you're doing there. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Au sujet de vos voix, elles n'ont plus la même tessiture. Ça vous a permis d'aller plus loin?
I think we did experiment a lot with the voices, and I think definitely Al, I've said it and I'll say it again, he sort of made me sing softer on a lot of tunes, which was a new thing for me, you know. Obviously on the like Bad Habits, I'm still wailing like a dolphin, but on like that tune, and you know, on the softer songs like The Pattern and stuff, where they're a bit more sort of sexy and groovy, that was a new thing to try, but I think I like that avenue.
That's what it's all about, this thing, isn't it, Miles?
Yeah.
You know, it's trying something else.
Pushing each other in a
strange corner.
Lyrically,
Y a-t-il un thème principal dans les paroles de cet album?
No, I don't think so. It's like there's a. I think, like, not to keep talking about the first album, but with that one, I think the lyrics, it was the first time I had looked at lyrics not being in the spotlight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it was almost like that first record was as much of an exercise in production than as it was like lyrics or songwriting even. Whilst that's not true with this record on every song, like some parts of it are very direct and it's like and personal, but there are times when the lyrics are treated as an equal kind of component along with the melody and what's going on in the music, and they become more atmospheric or like more about the sort of shadows they cast on the wall rather than the words themselves.
Cette fois, vous étiez tous à l'enregistrement. Cela a-t-il changé votre façon de travailler?
Well, it was still me, Miles, and James Ford, the producer, and then our friend Zach Dawes, who plays in a band called the Mini Mansions, who I was on the show here with. And I suppose there was, whereas the first time it was just me, Miles, and James, there were a few more visitors, weren't there, this time? I think
the doors were open, you know.
Yeah,
it was nice.
You brought in
Justement, quand vous avez intégré Zach de Mini Mansion, un mélomane comme vous, c'était pour ses lignes de basse à la Serge Gainsbourg?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can get it. He can get it pokey, can't he?
He's close.
Oui, il s'en rapproche.
Pokey.
He's a genius when it comes to the bass. You know, we regard him very highly.
He makes it sound like it has 8 strings.
Yeah. He's very good.
How did you get
Comment
the
avez-vous fait
unity
pour
in
unifier
this
l'album
album,
qui est
which
plus
is
varié dans
both
sa composition?
Zach Dawes.
That is his middle name.
Yeah, but I think it's...
Et je pense que ce sont les cordes qui ramènent l'unité.
Owen Pallet, we got him back again to do the strings like he did on the first record, and once again sort of bailed us out of trouble.
Les cordes sont moins présentes, mais elles ont plus d'espace.
They get more space.
I think so. I think that's something he. I remember him saying he wanted to do was, you know, not as much, not as dense as it was on the first
Less orchestral.
Moins orchestré.
Yeah. And just, I guess there's sometimes more like soul or like disco influenced even sometimes, aren't they? But with Owen's spin on it.
That's my next question.
C'est ma question
Can we say
suivante.
that the
Peut-on
soul
dire que la
has
soul a
played
joué un rôle
important
plus
role on
important
this
sur
album?
cet album?
Yeah, I think even though we never found that like a one thing that we were trying to rip off this time, I suppose we did when we were mentioning references to Owen. There was perhaps more like soul. I know we've talked about Isaac Hayes and that a lot. Yeah.
More like the feeling you get from them records than trying to be like that, you know.
Why
Pourquoi Tina Turner sur la pochette? Une référence à la Northern Soul?
To the Northern Soul.
Yeah.
That image, I thought, like, kind of seemed like it was perfect for the Shadow Puppets record, like long before we even began to write one.
In his kitchen for a while, and he always said it'd be a good album cover.
And the title.
Le titre. Everything You've Come to Expect. C'est une blague.
I think there's definitely an element of humour in it, Stefan. Yeah. There's some. I think I liked that it sounds like there's a. I guess it's like having a laugh with the idea that this Shadow Puppets has an inherent elegance, and like everything you'd come to expect almost sounds like it'd be like the tagline for an advert for brandy or something, you know.
Considérez-vous The Last Shadow Puppets comme un territoire de liberté, bref, un groupe qui ne se met pas la pression?
Both. Yeah, certainly initially, yeah. I think, you know, this time there was perhaps more of an expectation, and we knew we were going to end up putting it out there, which wasn't the case the first time we did it, but it was important for us to try and approach it with as much of that attitude as we did the first time, I think, I mean...
But it's very enjoyable to share it, doing it with someone, you know, and like especially singing and on stage, you know, it's nice knowing you got each other's back, you know what I mean? It's like,
You are great friends.
Vous êtes super potes, mais ça vous arrive de vous engueuler?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, you know, a sign of a good friendship when you're able to do so.
Yeah.
And bounce back afterwards.
Toi, tu es le blanc, lui, il est le noir.
It's a bloody yin-yang.
Je sais que vous n'aimez pas les interviews.
Very much.
Except for when they're with you.
J'espère que celle-là n'était pas trop chiante.
No, this is great. I mean,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
thank you, Stefan. Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
No problem.
Merci les gars, c'était un plaisir.
Cheers.